What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review, and yeah, we got another YBY1 VOD review because he's the best, he's the greatest, he's the GOAT, he's a beast. I mean, what else are you gonna say? Let's watch some more YBY1. When I Google translated, or it's actually a different site, translated this portal, it said it was something like conference or like everyone together. So I think it's champion conference. I guess we'll see at the end of this, or actually at 2-1 what galaxy we're in here. But immediately YBY1 gets offered what in my opinion is the most broken opener of the game. So this is just where we're gonna start. I think Faded opener is the best possible opener you can have, and if you get dropped a Thresh from an orb, I think as long as you see any other Faded units, I think you are already in a position to win streak, because this combination here, Yasuo Faded plus Thresh Faded, is just absolutely insane, because Yasuo is going to provide Yasuo and Thresh a 300 HP shield. Faded on Thresh is going to provide both of them 20 armor and MR. The shield scales well with the armor and MR. That is a classic YBY1 play, by the way. I'm a little shocked that he goes for that because he has Ahri pair, but he says, who cares about Garen here? I'm going to pre-level to look for, it's really like maybe we could pick up like an Aphelios, have higher Faded odds, but it's YBY1, he's a big fan of this pre-level, so I'm not shocked to see him do that whatsoever. Augment-wise here, I do tend to really like something like Sleight of Hand. I think this Augment is just so strong early, and we already want to play for streak. Martyr's not even the worst, but I do think Sleight of Hand, Martyr's really great late game. Sleight of Hand's a much stronger early game augment, so I have to imagine we're going to pick that up. We do still get this Ahri too, and we have tailored, because we had 3 Faded in, we're tailored for the Kindred, so now we pick up the Kindred. This is also a really cool thing from YBY1. This is something that a lot of people are talking about. Changes to Thief's Gloves this set is that if you put a TG on a unit, it's always going to be, this TG this round is always going to be blue buff plus belt. So what he does, he puts it on a unit on his bench, then sells that unit. Now he knows he has a blue buff on his TG, so he can just slam it onto his Ahri here. It only matters for this round, but that's something that can actually, potentially end up like swinging fights. He also, because we have this Ahri too, he's just gonna Faded pair with this Ahri here, which is pretty interesting actually. I think a lot of people might still even go for the Yasuo, but he wants the extra HP on an Ahri too. He wants the extra AP onto this Ahri who's going to be itemized with the TG, so it makes sense here. This is Gnar. It means you can reroll your next augment one extra time. It really tests your knowledge of these. One thing that I was gonna say about and that's a duelist in here. Yeah, he's just gonna play a decent duelist board here. Get the Yasuo in here. I like this a good bit. He probably can still, he definitely can still hold the Thresh pair. It's just gonna get quite expensive next round. We'll see what he ends up doing. Wow, and he actually goes for the Titan's Resolve Slam. I think that's something really wild. I don't think I would have ever gone for this Titan Slam here onto the Volibear, because I guess the idea is that you don't want to use your tier. I do think, though, Static Shiv's an insanely good early slam in comps like this. Like, I think if you hit Yasuo 2, Ahri 2, oh my god, that is gross. That is a Thresh 2 at 2-4. If you hit Yasuo 2 plus Ahri 2, you can, with a Static Shiv, you can very often just streak, honestly, because of how broken these units are. So I'm a bit actually surprised that he opted to make the Titans here, but I think he just wants a good item to win streak with. It'll be interesting to see where that actually ends up in Faded. We don't have to play Faded at this point. We just have a TG as our augment. There's no need to actually commit to Faded being our line, though it is really, like natural. Spat off Carousel though, and YBY1 immediately starts clapping. If he can get a Rod at some point this game, he can make a Faded Spat and he will be in an amazing spot. And is he really gonna get Rod? Ooh, yeah. I love this here from YBY1. He stands completely still because he wants to not like bait anyone into picking up the Rod. Maybe someone just wants to grief him, so he opts to not like care about that. So he just stands still, gives no one the opportunity to potentially grief him. But I think a lot of people have started to realize that, okay, people are going to, if someone's standing still, it probably means they want something on the carousel, and you can kind of figure it out, but it's like an extra level. YBY1 very upset there because he immediately looks at this player, and they are double Mythic Emblem. They got Mythic Emblem from Augment, and then Spat off Carousel, made Mythic Emblem, and 2 Mythic Emblems, strangely enough, in this set, is all you need to actually hit 10 Mythic on level 10. The big problem is hitting level 10. I'm going to swap up our board a bit here. I do think this little combination of units, the Kiana plus the Malphite, very often is the best supporting units to play when you're playing Faded. It gives you Duelist, it gives you Behemoth for Thresh, and it gives you the Heavenly for your entire board, which is really nice. This also allows him to move the Titan's Resolve over to Thresh. The other interesting thing of note is that he did slam a Redemption here just to play for Streak. It's a pretty bad item to make, actually, if you want to play towards Faded, because it's getting rid of your tier, but it's pretty hard for him to actually play around Faded this game. It's actually really, really scary, actually. Let's go back and look at that player. They don't have their spat made yet, but this is actually a really, really scary spot, because this person has Mythic Spat, and they have a Spatula. This, because the Mythic Spat is on Wandering Trainer, that actually means that they can play 10 Mythic on level 9, as long as they get to Mythic Spat, which is, yeah, I mean, this Mythic Spat, it just kind of allows you to get to really crazy spots. Is he? He doesn't have Yasuo too, right? Yeah, you have to hold Yasuo pair here. He's going to opt to hold it. Gets another Thresh, which is pretty funny from the Taylor. He would have actually... It's actually 50-50 to give him a Felios. So actually, I wonder if the correct play in that round... I mean, making gold is making gold, but I wonder if the correct play is actually to hold Kindred, because you can play 5 Faded here if you get the Aphelios, which is 50-50 shot for you to get. Itemize here, he's just going to make an even Shroud here because it's a third item onto our Thresh. It's a solid item. So it looks like if we play into Faded, we're going to be playing like an Aphelios game and maybe just Titan's Resolve Thresh. I mean, we already have 4 Threshes, which is really nice. We just need to start getting those Aphelioses. Ooh, I mean, okay, I like Pandora's a decent, or not Pandora's. I don't know why I said Pandora's, even though I was looking at it. I like the dummy a bit here, but he actually... There's actually like a lot of stuff that he passes over here. I mean, we definitely can't take this. I like Dummy a decent bit. It looks like he really likes Buried Treasures in this spot because he's so far off. I could see it, yeah. Yeah, he opts to roll the Dummy. Obviously can't take this, can't really take this, so then it has to be Buried Treasures. It actually makes a good amount of sense. Buried Treasure in this spot because it can very easily farm you a Rod for your Faded. It can also start farming you Aphelios items. The only thing that's kind of... Oh my god! I love how reactive YBY1 is. He sees that person, hits Hedge Fund, he knows now that they can really, really easily push levels. It's still, the thing about that Mythic setup is, for the player who needs to get to level 10, it is not guaranteed to hit level 10, even with something like Hedge Fund. And I don't know what the other player who had Wandering Trainer got, but it's still, you know, not guaranteed to even be able to go level 9 in TFT. Yeah, this is the only slightly scary thing about this setup, is that, you know, his items... Your items are going to be random out of Buried Treasures, so he gets a Chain Vest. The Chain Vest is pretty useless here because, I mean, we already have a lot of stuff, a lot of tanked items onto our Thresh here, and a secondary tank. It will end up probably being Ornn in this comp. Ornn is a fantastic holder of Faded Spat, but, you know, we'll see what ends up happening. I guess he could still always pivot into something else. I mean, maybe there's some Genius Mode pivot here. I mean, I think the Faded angle makes a lot of sense here, and it doesn't even look like there are that many people angling for it. Speaking of Faded angle, I mean, there is a Cinder with Tier on Carousel. I have to imagine we'll pick that up if we get the chance. Sadly, we're not going to get the chance, so we can just take... I actually like Bow here a lot. He's going to go for Sword, because we don't have Heal Cut yet, right? And Bow can be red buff for Aphelios, and he's a fantastic holder of it. He really likes the attack speed. He really just likes the item in general. So YBY1 not going to opt for that, though. He's going to opt for the Sword here, which, yeah, is going to end up being a Death Blade for the potential of Aphelios. Maybe there's some kind of idea. Oh, and he fights this guy here who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, they're only 1, 2, 3, 4. I only see 4 Mythic on board right now. Wait, but this guy got Fortune Spat is what he's going crazy over. I mean, that's a crazy angle as well. So Fortune Spat to try to get Fortune in to cash out to get level 9. I mean, I should be VOD reviewing that guy's game. He's 27 HP. Like I was talking about, he could very easily die. So it is no guarantee that he wins this game at all. But it is very possible that he, you know, cashes out and does make it. Now we get 5 Faded in because we got the Spat. We can move the items over to Kindred, which is a little bit awkward because we'd still want Kindred on our board. Oh no, he moved the items over to Zoe. I don't know why I thought they were on Kindred. Yeah, the items on Zoe make a lot more sense because it's a lot easier to make sure she can... we can just sell her very easily later. The only interesting thing I would say so far that is still surprising me about this setup is that he's still keeping the Thresh binded with the Ahri. I think a lot of people mid-game really prefer to bind the Thresh with the Yasuo, just get shield onto your entire board. AP onto the Ahri is very solid because she's so itemized, but it's still a bit surprising to me actually that he goes for it here. Gets the guaranteed Syndra from Faded, or from the Champion Conference here, which is fantastic. Pick up another glove here, so it's just going to be a TG with Sleight of Hand. It's interesting, actually, that he prefers to go for that TG onto Syndra there. Because, like, the rest of his items, I mean, They have to end up being Aphelios items. We're going to go GS and Sunfire. So it ends up being Sunfire for heal cut instead of red buff. I mean, in some ways a worse item, in some ways a better item. Pretty creative board, by the way, that YBY1 is playing around here. Just itemizing the Kiana here with all these AD items. This actually does quite well. He can get in the 5 faded here. And the only question is, when does he actually level up here? Ooh, that's a triple roll there. Looks like he was going to be okay taking Harm Assist, but then ends up actually picking up bulk here, which is fantastic with buried treasures here. We have so many items already that bulk is going to be really, really good. Pick up Ash here, and Ash is actually going to be our faded. Not going to itemize Aphelios because, I mean, we're pretty far of Aphelios too. We have a lot of Threshes. And we're even going to get in this this Hui here. Fighting the Mythic player again. This guy is really rich. They have just a Lilia 1 at this point, but a lot of gold, getting a little low. I also want to check in on Oscat, down to 13 HP, that Fortune player. Really scary spot for them. But yeah, interesting. So this is going to be a faded Ash. I do think if you look at the statistics, if you look at the stats, they say that faded Ash is incredibly strong. And maybe, actually, now that I think about it, maybe this is what YBY1 was building towards the entire time. Maybe this is why he didn't want to pick up the red buff, because we are faded Thresh and we're pairing it with Kindred here, which is going to give attack speed to our entire board, a ton of attack speed onto this Ash. The attack speed is also solid on, units like Syndra, who are going to, just use it to get a bunch of autos in and start casting. So I think this is the idea. You go full AD on Ash, pair faded there, and then you pick up the faded buff and put it onto the attack speed faded buff and go for that. That's a pretty cool setup. It's not one that I've seen before. I've seen a lot of oh, Oscat is down to 6 HP. Someone said Oscat got it too. I don't know if that means they cashed out. I don't know if that means they... I mean, they still have to get to 10, right? They need to have a stable enough board to... please go scout them. Okay, wait, let's go look at their board real quick. Because this is... Okay, they just went 8. They just went 8 with like 6 seconds left. This is their board. 7 Mythic here. They did cash out, right? Because they... because we... I don't see any... I mean, yeah, they took Fortune... took Fortune out. Yeah, okay. So they're not playing Fortune on their board anywhere. They have a Fortune emblem plus an Ultras emblem. I don't know where the Ultras emblem came from. Must be from cash out. They got a Sniper's Focus. They have a decent amount of items. I don't know. This doesn't look that good of a spot from them. It kind of looks like they're just going to die. I don't even see what their cash out was. Maybe a bunch of gold that they use. And they're level 8 here, but they only have 7 bards. I mean, not to say that our board is going to beat their board. I'm not saying, like, their board is definitely strong for now. But I'm a little bit underwhelmed by their spot because look, there's 0 gold. Yeah, I like Asia. It's like it's not like they're going 10. I'm not going 10 anytime soon. You don't have to be. No, I mean they have to get to 10, right? How are they supposed to... Wait, no, they were the person with the dummy. Oscat was? Yes. Oscat was the person with the dummy. But still, I mean, they're level 8, 0 gold, so it's still very hard for them to even make it to 9. Pick up Thresh, or not Thresh, but Set here, who's, always a nice in when you're playing around this stuff. We're still keeping binded with the... Did he bind it with Ash, actually? Wait, I need to go look at next fight, or really just after this fight we can look. But this is another... I feel like Faded is actually so cool. One, it's like kind of broken, so it like incentivizes people to play around it. But 2, it's so cool all the different pairings you can do. And yes, he is binded with Ash, which is the emblem. Now, I think the emblem is, as far as Faded bonus, is a very controversial Faded bonus. It is 3% HP healing every 3 seconds. So you basically heal 1 HP per second. And then if you scale that up to 7 Faded, it's 3 HP per second. Which is a lot of HP, especially coupled with the Armor and MR from the Thresh. The weird thing is that, you don't get the ability to actually amp up your unit's tank stats, or your unit's damage stats, really. So you just have to hope that, Ash with pretty low attack speed is going to be able to do work here. We do pick up the set items here in the Steadfast and the Hodge great items, and the Thresh 3, which is a really, really nice pickup here because this is going to add a ton of tankiness to our board. But like you can see, this setup is pretty low damage, and if you don't have a way for your carry to scale, it gets a little scary. Yeah, we just get completely run over. I wonder if it'll change. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I certainly can see the upside in this setup, but okay, now we're finally going to pick up Ash. We throw in Ornn, who's a fantastic unit, especially because we're playing around Kindred. And yeah, he's going to go back to the Kindred pair. I think I like this a lot more in this setup just because our Ashe has 0 attack speed here, basically. So if you aren't pairing with Kindred here, I feel like you're really low damage. The only other thing you can think about potentially pairing is Set, just because, one, it's a bunch of HP onto Set, especially once you find Set too. And it's also just healing to your entire team. It's 45% Omni Vamp. His Set's bonus is 15%. So it means that if your units are doing damage, they will be doing insane work. And yeah, he is. Ooh, yeah, he's gonna go for the Kindred Set pair here. Says, I don't need the Armored Mar. I'm just gonna pair this setup. I mean, this game goes to show YBY1, rank 1 North America, one of the best players in the world, still I think does not have in his head, like, set in stone what he wants to pair with Faded here, because he swapped. He was Kindred Emblem. He was, I don't think he was ever Kindred Emblem, but he was Kindred Thresh. He was Thresh Emblem. He was Thresh Set. He was Set Kindred now. Like, he's going back and forth, trying out different stuff, trying to figure it out. And hey, I mean, we're still very early on in the set. We are like a few days in at this point. You would not think that we're so early on in the set if you look at like Soju's profile and see that this guy has like over 100 games played, probably like 120 at this point. But yeah, we are only, this is day what? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is day, no, 5. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, how does math work? Oh, yeah, no, it is 6 because Tuesday would be 7 if you count Wednesday. That is how math works. But, you know, just goes to show that a lot of this stuff is still being, you know, worked on by people and tried to, you know, figure out by people who actually like care about stats and these type of things, which is the hard part with this kind of stuff is actually there's no stats, right? There's no stat to tell you what your win rate is when you pair with a set. That's just not something that we have in match history. Look at this, another change. He's pivoting to Kindred plus Aphelios as his pairing now. That's AD plus attack speed. Obviously, 2 stats that scale very well together. He thinks that, you know, maybe having the AD onto Set is really nice. The attack speed onto Ashe is really nice. He's tried. It's like at least 5, maybe 6 different pairs at this point. It's really, really cool seeing YBY1 puzzle this out in his head and try to figure it out. And I don't know, maybe we'll say on this, I think, in my opinion, Thresh is an incredibly strong pair. I really like when you're playing around AP to do Thresh plus Ahri. The AP, and then have Faded Spat onto Ornn. The AP onto Ornn is fantastic, but we're Faded Spat Ashe here, which complicates things a lot, actually. Ideally looking for, oh, actually, yeah, it kind of surprised me that he IE'd Aphelios. I thought we were just going to go IE Set for just the big crits, but doesn't want it. Is going to finally get this Amumu in here who, you know, beautifully completes the synergies. You get Porcelain and Warden in, which are really, really nice on this board, actually. Ornn, you know, just too good of a unit to pass up. We could have played Amumu last round, but Ornn 2 is an Ornn 2. He's going to farm items for our boys, especially once we only have, well, still we only have 1 Set item. But, you know, farming items for Set is fantastic here. So, yeah, we made it to level 9, which is a big upgrade onto our board as well, like I'm talking about. Still, Oscat makes it to level 9. Holy, I can't believe he probably hit Bard 3 at some point. Level 9, that means he can play, but it looks like he wasn't playing 9 Mythic there. He definitely can play 9 Mythic, but is he missing? No, he has the 2/1 cost on his bench. Why can't he fit it? Is he not willing to cut units or something? You can definitely play, I mean, he's got a Spat and he's got a dummy, right? Why is he has these 2. He hovered over the traits. He has these 2 that he needs to get in, and then he needs to get another Faded unit. He needs Lilia. He's missing Lilia, right? He just doesn't have a Lilia. He probably sold it for Econ just to try to make it here. So he needs to find a Lilia to actually play this board, and then he has to, you know, you'd have to cut all the non-faded units. It would be, I mean, he can play 1 non-faded unit, but, you know, you cut a lot of this other stuff. You go cut, put in 3 faded, and then, you know, GG's. I mean, you probably play something better than a Riven, but, you know, you get the idea. You play 1 non-faded unit, you play 9 faded, you win the game, you're very happy. But we're fighting now this player. They're only 7 faded. If we can ever beat them, it would be now. And if we can beat them, we save the entire lobby because they're going to die here. Still, though, Bard 3 plus Thomas Kench 3 with 7 faded in. Still, it's not even 10 faded, and it still looks like an unwinnable fight. This Mythic trait is so strong. Did I say faded? I don't know how many times I said faded, but I meant Mythic almost every time, probably. But yeah, this Mythic trait, so incredible. YBY1 looking to go 9 at this point because, I mean, there's nothing, or 10 at this point, there's nothing left to roll for on 9, except for Kindred 2, and then he rolls once and hits it like a beast. I mean, there's a Mumu 2 as well, I guess, if you really think you need the upgrades to win. But this is going to be our positioning. We have gone back to, this is Kindred's Set pair here. We need the healing. I mean, the interesting thing about, oh my god, we're just gonna clear this board. Set 2, I mean, you have to pair with, right? It's so much HP, and the healing onto him is fantastic. Oscat is gonna kill off Spencer here, and we got one more fight versus them. I don't know if they got 10 Mythic in, but we still lost last time, so it's very hard. It's interesting the Kindred pair, because Kindred, I mean, it's fantastic onto Ashe, but it's really quite useless onto the set, actually. It doesn't really do anything on set. The attack speed is pretty worthless on him because he's an insta-cast. They still don't actually have Mythic in. We actually position Set here to try to dunk into backline here. The problem is I don't think Set can solo out this Bard. He's so tanky. Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. 7 Mythic is too broken. Still, though, a really fantastic second from YBY1, really showing off the power of Fated, which I do think is one of the strongest synergies in the game right now. And also showing about how interesting it is puzzling out, you know, what's actually strongest for Fated, what the pairs are. I think by the end of this game, YBY1 wasn't completely sure, so I'm down to watch more of his VODs, understand more of like what units use pairing. The one thing that I wanted to say that I didn't actually get to say, because, you know, I like to just through the VOD, is that you can switch up what Fated units you want to pair versus different boards. Versus some boards you really need healing, versus some boards you don't need healing. Then you can switch between if you want Thresh paired, if you need the tank stats paired on other units. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.